Okay, guys, I'm going to ask Jason to join me on the call. And Jason, are you here, champ?
I'm here. I'm ready.
The man is here and ready. That's good. That's good to hear. That's what I would expect, knowing him quite well. Guys, so we're very privileged to have Jason Bagley with us here today. He's the founder of Firing Squad and one of the kind of best minds in sales and marketing. If you're not sure how much attention to pay to the next 10, 15 minutes, Jason has recently had his sales company acquired by a US business in a very exciting deal, and he's now the Vice President of Digital Strategy at SiteCare based in the United States. So this man is a genius in my book, basically, when it comes to what we're going to talk about in the next while. I don't think he will disagree with me. Jason, so thanks for being with us, champ. I know it's busy times, and your clients are just about starting to wake up on the other side of the world. We've heard some great things from Donnie now. Strategy is good and all, but if you can't get the word out and if you can't manage to actually make some sales, a good strategy doesn't help. You have to close business. So firstly, I guess I want to chat to you about marketing and sales because you have very good expertise in both of these areas. So firstly, just marketing, like how has it changed over the last year, would you say?
I don't think marketing or even sales has changed much in the last year, probably like maybe 10 years, sure. But in the last year, I think the biggest change, if you think about it from, what's maybe happened with COVID, or people have been more laser focused on where they're spending money, right? So I think they probably looked at the ROI of their channels that they're busy marketing. Are they actually making any leads from social media? So why are we even using that channel? Why are we spending money on it, for example? And I think then you're looking at your spend. So you're looking at your spend and you're looking at your ROI, more focused on the actual results versus, you just get a report from your agency every single month and you just, it looks okay, move on, seems leads are coming in, whatever, right? I think that's probably the biggest change. There's nothing big in terms of actual marketing fundamentals or new trends or things like that have really changed.
But like you said, like definitely management teams focusing more on like what are we actually getting for the the money we're spending, and where are the trends going in terms of what should we back, right? So
exactly.
Are there any kind of trends to look out for? If you were to think of the marketing landscape, like is there something that we as business owners should kind of like pay attention to and take note of?
Yeah, definitely TikTok. And Clubhouse. No, listen, I'm genuinely not the biggest fan of jumping onto trends. I would rather be watching them and seeing what does happen and before jumping in, because listen, I've got squirrel mentality myself. Like when new shit comes out, I'm like, wait, what's this? Let's go. And trying you know what I mean? Like, it's like, what is this? Like, I'll sign up and check it out. And I waste my time doing those things. But the tried, old, tested forms of marketing and sales, if you do them well, consistently well over a period of time, they're always going to deliver. So, listen, unless you're an entrepreneur, those vacs just landed in Joburg. So we need those distributed. So exactly. I saw some businesses already being registered, Vaccine Transport, PTY Limited, off they go, right? Listen, other than that trend and PVE and all of that, I would say stick to those channels, content marketing, PPC, email, video, SEO, stick to those. Those are trends. They've been around for ages. They still work.
Got it. And I love what you said about consistency, and then also making sure that you get the right ROI while consistently doing what you're doing. Otherwise, you're just consistently spinning your wheels. So I want to put an interesting question to you, and just hear if you had a big marketing budget for a company, I'm sure you do have a big marketing budget. How would you advise founders to think about splitting that marketing budget across channels? Or where is the good ROI right now? Let's call it B2B. Otherwise, we're making it very, very wide.
Yeah. So this is the answer. Everybody wants this answer, right? This is the goal. Yeah, totally. So, and I'm gonna love to just throw it depends. So we just all love that as an answer, right? So for me, so I'm just going to go on our experience and what we're obviously seeing for some of our clients, and what I'm also seeing sort of, in the broader sort of market and other entrepreneurs like yourself and other guys that I speak to. a big one for us. I'm obviously a big sucker for email, so love email. Obviously, email lead generation is a big one for us, and that's one thing I would definitely look at. Content marketing, I think, is another big one that we're spending at the moment. Going to be spending a lot of money on ourselves, whether we're hiring people or getting outsourced freelancers to write really great. And I'm not talking like thought leader pieces of like, yes, thought leader articles and things like that, but get down into like data. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people like, if you're looking for like bang for your buck, getting down to like maybe analyzing or compiling data, like a great example, like OCFO, like talk about things like potential, like you've got a bunch of entrepreneurs, the ones that care about their finances and they actually have a monthly meeting, for example, how are their companies growing versus the ones that just like spray and pray and hope they only chat to you maybe once a year, as an example. Those type of articles, exactly, like those type of articles where you're like actually pulling out percentages and this is what's helping these, when people are doing X, this is what's happening Y. That stuff gets PR, that stuff gets linked on other articles, that stuff gets, noticed. So that's like from a content marketing perspective, I would say I'd spend money on that. And then like PPC to drive, put some spend behind some of that stuff. So put spend behind, landing pages or videos that you're putting out, or, whether it's a podcast, whether it's like that type of thing. So, I mean, it's difficult to say like actual numbers because everyone's budget's different, but I wouldn't go and spray and I honestly would probably stay far away from like social, like spending too much time on social, just because it's one of the ones that you struggle with the most in terms of ROI. But outside of that, it would be, obviously, I'm going to say email. I would say content marketing because that's longer term. It's evergreen. So you can keep those articles are going to be around for ages and ages, and you can reshare them and change them up and take out bits. And one becomes an audio, one becomes a video, one becomes a tweet, one becomes so you can use that over and over again. And I think PPC, because that's going to be your instant flick the switch and traffic's going to start coming in. So I would like sort of, use those three and see what works and then see what ROI on those and then moving on from there.
Brilliant. No, thanks for that. I'm sure everyone's making notes frantically in the background here. That's brilliant.
I see them all. Look at that. Yeah, one's having lunch there. Oh, it's a nice lunch.
One's babies in the background. It's wild. Jason, so marketing and getting the word and the word out and the traffic in, those are really important. But getting the deal across the line is ultimately that's golden, right? That's the money in the bank. So now that face-to-face conversations and traveling to meet a client in a different country or even a different city has been complex, what's the best way to have a conversation with a prospect right now to try and get them over the line if you're thinking about this environment?
Yeah. So I think there's two things here. I think number one is like start at home, right? You've got a bunch of clients that are already working with you. Okay, it's so much easier to go back to them to try and sell them additional things. They almost want to be sold additional stuff. But I wouldn't start with just like, oh, hey, just increase your retainer with us. Oh, hey, can you buy some more stuff from us? Put something together that just like you ask your staff to like, take initiative and like, hey, what else can we do to this business to make it better? Like you always want your staff to show initiative. Do the same with your clients. Put together a little strategy that has go, this is what the results we potentially could see from it. But in order for us to execute this, we're going to need another 20 hours a month, right? You don't have to take it. We'll carry on doing what you know, but keep this on the side burner, right? That stuff is what your clients are looking for. So I'd always start going back to your current clients and seeing what else you can sell them as a starting point. So that's going to get you more leads in the door and more revenue. And then I think outside of that, I think doing those things I mentioned. So I think I'm going to talk about email lead generation, which is obviously like finding the right people to talk to and maybe emailing them and doing the same thing. Like what's about giving a bit of value up front and then trying to get on a call with people. Like I think that's, and also not wasting your time getting on the calls with wrong people. Businesses that are, let's say you go after business that need to have, 10 or 15, 100 staff because that's where your product is. Don't have the calls with the company that is only 10 staff. They're not going to be your clients. You're wasting your time. You're ticking the HubSpot box of, oh, I've got another lead. But actually it's not moving your business anywhere. So I think that's something quite important when you are going out and being trying to get more leads or who to get on the call. I think that's quite important too, like who you're reaching out to.
Yeah, you're saying, speaking to leads, like it's such an easy thing to connect to new people. I know it must come like very naturally to you, having been in that game for quite a while now. But how does the average business owner, in their company go about finding those leads, right? All that they've got is they're locked in their spare bedroom, and they're behind their computer. They can't actually go out and meet new people, have new conversations, get a referral over a coffee. Close a deal over lunch, etc. Like, how do you go about, targeting more leads?
So I think one thing, like, and if we talk about sort of one way who you're going to be actually speaking to, would be going and saying, if you got, there's two ways to do this. You do this manually and sitting on LinkedIn Sales Navigator and going through lists and doing some filtering there and finding people. And then, there's some tools out there, Email Hunter, a few of them that like Email Hunter. I think it's a good starting point. You can give them a LinkedIn URL and it'll give you the person's email address, right? That's like a good starting point. Or go to Upwork.com and find a LinkedIn list builder, and they'll build you lists of, okay, I'm looking for, businesses that are in financial services. They have more than like 25 staff. They're based in Cape Town and they have blonde hair, right? So then it's gonna be like, okay, cool. lo@ocfo.com. Like, so they're gonna pull out your email address. So sorry about that. Everyone's gonna be
all good. But it has to be a very compelling email, otherwise there will be no response on it.
Exactly. So like, that's a starting point. Like, that's how you can get in front of some people. Obviously you need a compelling message, and then like, listen, we can wax lyrical forever, but I think that's a good starting point. But don't forget about the other things. Don't forget about the content marketing. Don't think about the PPC potentially. So there's a couple of things. Yeah.
Got it. No, those are a good couple of things. Lots to think about. Thank you so much for taking this whole world of marketing and sales and crunching it into 10, 12 minutes with me. You have an amazing way of doing that. Guys, Jason Bagley, thank you very much for being here with us today and sharing your insights. You guys we'll share Jason's details if anyone wants to learn a bit more about how he goes about generating all of these leads and new business for his clients all over the world. Thanks for being here, bud.
Cheers, Lo.
Hey, Lo here, one of the founders of Outsource CFO. If you enjoyed this video, make it official. Click subscribe.